Hi everyone. Today I'm going to do my creation for mixed medium morsel mashups challenge number 6. I'm a little bit late in getting this one done and I apologize for that. I do have a lot of things going on in the summer as usual. So try to see if I can get caught up here a little bit today. I have my shipping paper signature here that that I have been using for these challenges, and I'm going to do another page in it today. And I'm going to use this little jelly print that I created some time ago. I couldn't even tell you how long ago or when it was, but I really like the patterning on it and I thought I would use that as my background. So to start with, I'm gonna just cut this down and get it adhered to the page, and then I'll show you what I'm gonna do for the challenge. Okay, so I've got the background all attached, and I'm going to do something a little bit different for the crackle. I'm not going to do a background with it. I'm going to use it to accent an element of the page. So what I'm going to do is I've sketched out a little tree and a branch here, and the tree is going to go against the edge of the page here. And I'm going to do the crackle on the tree and the branch. And I think if it turns out the way I'm thinking it will look really cool, like a rough tree. You know, you guys might remember I did a tree before using tissue paper texture, and that works really, really well. So I thought I'm going to try doing this crackle thing and see what it looks like. It may work, it may not, but I thought I'd give it a shot. So I've already, like I said, kind of sketched out a little bit of a branch here. I've got a little bird that I cut out of some packaging. You guys might remember I used a little bird from this box to put on one of my little puzzle piece ornaments. And I really love these birds. They're so colorful and they're already pretty much done up for me. So I'm going to take a shortcut, and instead of creating my own bird for this particular page, I'm just going to use one of these beautiful birds. So I've already kind of trimmed this one out of the packaging. And so the branch that he is on, I may cut this branch out and finish out my own branch, because I'm going to want the branch to look more like my tree. But it's going to be something like that, something along those lines. So before we do the bird, I'm going to get to this tree. I'm going to do the crackle on a separate sheet of paper and attach it so that if it doesn't work on the first go around, I can just simply do another tree and then attach that one if it works. So we'll hope it works. We'll see how it goes. So all I'm going to do on this tree is just paint just like I would do a crackle background. I'm going to paint a background color, which would be on the tree, not the background of the page, but on the tree. I'm going to paint a color for the background. I'm going to put some glue on top of that, or some crackle medium. I'll probably use this crackle medium like I did in my original Morsel video. And then put another color on top of that, and we'll see if the magic happens like I'm hoping it will. So I think I will go with like a dark brown for my base color. And I'm just going to paint that on and dry it up, and we'll see how this progresses. Let's see, I need a brush. I didn't get a brush out earlier. Let's use this one. I think it's small enough. Okay, so let's see. We're going to put, we're just going to coat the background of the tree. I'm not too worried about this edge. It's going to be cut out anyway. I can cut it out whatever shape I want it to be later. It's a little bit light still. I was kind of hoping for a darker color, so I need to get some black. We'll mix a little black into some brown here and see if we can't darken it up a little bit. These are just ordinary craft paints that I'm using for my tree. See if we can stir that up and try that again. Kind of a really dark brown. Probably could put a little bit more of the brown color in. Black was a little dark. Okay. That's a little bit better. Okay. So it's a really dark brown. Deep for like the shadows where the bark is going to be kind of crackling off of the tree. We'll see this color underneath. And I wanted it to be kind of a good dark color. I'm going to need my branch to come out a little bit farther since I'm going to replace the branch that my bird is currently sitting on. So I'm just going to carry it on out like this. And that ought to be pretty good. It's just going to go off the edge of the page. I cut this sheet to roughly the size of my page so that I could know what size I needed my tree to be. Okay. All right, so I'm going to dry this up and we'll go ahead with the crackle medium step. So the, the base color is dry. I did add an additional branch for my tree because it looked a little bare up near the top, so I wanted to you know, just add another branch, give it a little bit more character. And now I'm going to, I've got some of the crackle medium out over here, and I've got some lighter brown acrylic paint here, so I'm going to go ahead and do the crackle paint, or the crackle medium I should say, and just put that on. I'm kind of doing a medium sort of layer, not too thick, not too thin, just kind of average. And we'll give that just a minute or two, and then we'll put the brown paint on top. Okay. I think I'm going to kind of go around a little area, kind of like a knot hole area here. All right, and get this big branch. Covered. So now you can see that it's wet with the crackle medium. You can see where my little knot hole is. Okay. And I'm going to just immediately go ahead now. Well, I'm not immediate. Give it a minute or two, but I'm going to go in with the brown paint now, the lighter brown color. And the idea here is to not brush back and forth too much over the glue. Just kind of make one pass if you can, and then leave it. So I'm going to try that a little bit here. Okay. It's so hard to not try to correct yourself. Let me see if I can remember about my knot hole here. I'm about to make a mess. See, I don't really want to paint into the glue again, but I do want to cover everything pretty well. And just try to fiddle with it as little as possible, as I think is the idea. I don't do this enough to even remember what works best or to give you any real important tips, but it is fun to do. The last time I did it was for that original Morsel, and I really loved it, and I haven't come back to it again, so I'm really glad to come back to it again this time and use it in a different way. So I'm leaving that alone. Okay, yes, it's messy, and I will be trimming that out, so I'm not too concerned about, you know, where I made errors with the paint. But as you can see, it's already starting to pull away. The paint is already pulling away where the glue is, and so it's already looking really cool. The crackling thing, so I love that. It's looking awesome. Okay, while my tree is drying over here, I'm going to take my bird and I'm going to glue it to a piece of just regular cardstock. This is just a scrap. I just want to give it a little bit more, make it a little bit thicker, because I think I'm going to pop it up just a tiny bit from the page with some foam adhesive. So I'm going to go ahead, before I do the fussy cutting, I'm going to go ahead and attach the bird to the cardstock and then fussy cut. The bird is glued on, and because he's so glossy, that packaging was really glossy. There we go. I'm going to take some fluid matte medium and just brush over the top of it before I cut it out, so that it will take down, hopefully, a lot of that shine. So yeah, that dulls it right down. You can see now there's absolutely no shine on that bird. That's cool. So that's a good use for matte medium. If you want to dull a glossy image down, use that. Because your Mod Podge and Collage Podge and Decoupage mediums, they all tend to leave some kind of shine. Sometimes it's shinier than others, but they all leave some kind of shine. But the golden matte medium does not leave any shine. It is, that's nice and flat now. That looks great. And this little bird was on the bottom of the box packaging, and so he doesn't have a foot on the one side because it was cut off at the bottom of the box. So I'm going to just put some some leaves maybe in front of where his foot would be. And that'll make a simple way to add him to the page but not have to create an extra foot like this little delicate foot here. Claw. And we'll just kind of cover it with some leaves is what I'm thinking. Here we go. So, let's see how our tree is doing. Oh, it looks so cool. Look how neat that looks. It looks just like an old tree. Now, there's some areas that I'm not as fond of because I didn't put the paint quite as thick as I should have, like right in here, for instance, and also around the knot hole there. There's a lighter edge of paint that didn't really crackle because there wasn't enough paint there. Excuse me, but I'm gonna go over it with a dry brush here and there with a lighter color just to add like some highlights. So I think it might cover up some of those areas. So I'm not going to be too concerned about that. We'll see how we'll see how it goes. But I think it's pretty much dry. It doesn't really feel damp or anything anymore. So let's cut it out. I'm excited to see how it's going to look on our page, on our background. We'll lay it on our background. See how it looks. That looks so cool. I love it. Okay, and here's our little bird. It's going to be perched on the branch, like so. A little tail on the bottom. Oh, I love this. I'm very excited about how it's looking. Okay, so I had to see that. I had to see how it's going to look. All right, let's put a little bit of just a little bit of a lighter color on the branch. I'm going to go with a khaki color, just with like a dry brush to put a little bit of highlight on the tree. Let's see what that looks like. Get a brush and let's go with this one. Tap it off real good so it's just barely there. And let's see. Might need it not so bright. Let's put a little bit of the brown in with it that I put on this color brown. Let's see. Stir it up. I've got a little stylus over here. I'm gonna just stir that, mix that up with that because I don't want to get my brush too saturated. All right, now that's a little bit more deeper khaki color. Okay, so let's try that. Let's see what that looks like. Looks pretty good. Let's just do some more and see how we like it. And I think I'm going to get my baby wipe here and kind of brush, kind of with a damp baby wipe kind of takes some of it away, just so that it looks a little sketchy, or not like it's intended to be there, so to speak. Maybe I'll just use the baby wipe. Let's try that. Oh, that is so cool. I really love how it looks. Yep, I'm really happy with that. That's a great way to use the crackle medium or glue to do a crackle technique. That's really fun. All right, so now I need to put my little bird on. And like I said, I think I want to pop it up just a little bit, but I'm not sure. I might just glue it down like it is. I'm thinking, you know, that I don't want the book to be too thick. And when you have raised elements, you know, it can get a little thick, make your book a little bit thick. So I think I'm going to just glue him down just like he is. I think he's thick enough that he has a presence. it's so sweet. He looks so real. I love this bird image anyway, so this is really making me happy. Very happy. Okay, now I'm gonna get my words ready to put on here. This is going to be the part of the challenge that is the stamped tissue paper. So I'm going to just take a little scrap of white tissue, and I'm going to stamp out my words that I want to put on this page. I'm going to cut these words out just by tearing them, but I'm wetting them first so that I can tear them easily. So I'm not cutting it with scissors so it doesn't leave a hard edge, which really will show up if you glue it down. We'll try to make the tissue paper disappear, you know, but if you have a straight edge cut from a scissors, it really will show up and make the tissue paper more obvious. So doing it like this and just making it real feathery edge just blends it, helps it blend right into the page. So I'm going to need to stamp some leaves and cut them out. So I'm going to scrape some paint on this piece of book text, and just to give me a bit of a blue background, kind of like what I have back here, so that when I stamp the leaves I don't have to fussy cut them exact. I can just kind of cut around them. I'm hoping that's going to work, so we'll see. It may not work, but we're going to give it a shot. I'm not sure if I recorded that last segment or not, but I took this little stamp that I have. It's by Kaiser, and it's very old. It's called Leaves. Anyway, I started with the light green color, Vivid's Chartreuse, and it was a little too light. You can see it a little tiny bit back there, and then I switched over to the leaf green color and stamped that, and I like that better. So I'm going to see about trimming some of these out. And we'll see if that's going to work. I just want to kind of loosely cut them because they're not attached. The leaves are not attached to their little stems, and so it would be really difficult to cut them out. Fussy cut, really, you know, exact. So just going to give this a try and see if I like how it looks. So all the leaves are glued down, and now I'm going to go ahead and put the words on. And the trick to getting this to disappear pretty good for you is to make sure you have enough of your Mod Podge or Collage Podge, whatever you're using. Make sure you have enough underneath so that it soaks into the tissue really well on the bottom, and then put some on the top too, to just to make sure that the tissue gets completely saturated, and that's how it's going to disappear. So I'm going to go ahead and coat the page. I'm not going to coat the bird. I'm going to kind of just go around the bird. I don't know. I might put some on the bird. We'll see. I guess he needs to look, yeah, he needs to look the same as the rest of the page. So I'll go ahead and put a coating on him too. And I like this Collage Podge because it gives a light sheen. It doesn't really give a shine. It's sort of satiny. So things won't be shiny when you use this. Just a little bit of a sheen. Okay, next I'm gonna use a little bit more of the archival ink, and I'm gonna use a piece of this shelf liner, and I've cut a little piece of it to use. And by the way, I have some of this. I have actually 4 different types of shelf liners in my newest mark making kit in my Etsy store. Let me show you what that looks like. We've got one with ridges like this, so it stamps some really cool lines. We got one with a tiny little grid. It's really pretty on the other side too. It's got a beautiful design, but it's got a real small grid. This one is the bigger square grid, and all of these make really cool stamps and marks on your papers or on your projects. And this is the one that I'm going to use. There's also some bubble wrap in the kit, and there is a piece of that Healthy Choice steamer basket that I have used before in previous videos, and it makes a great stencil design and pattern on your projects. A different piece, a different shape of the canvas, needlepoint canvas. That also is a great stamping. I love to stamp with this. Just dip this in paint or ink and stamp it. Oh, it looks so cool. I love it. There's a Scotch tape roll that has 2 circles, one inside the other, which makes a concentric circle, you know, that you can stamp in your backgrounds. And I have 2 of my stamps in here. They're wrapped up to protect the foam, because we don't want it to get dented and all, because then you'll have those marks in your stamp. But there's a nice white, clean white card, like a credit card, in here protecting the stamps. Plus you can use this card for dipping in paint and making lines and things on your projects. And also it makes a great little small palette if you need to hold a little palette in your hand with some paint while you're working, and it makes a nice clean palette. The stamps inside, I wanted to grab mine and show you. It's one of those leaves like I recently used on my most recent tag that was featured on my blog page. That one is in there, and also the circle one is the one that I used in the last dessert video, and I used it, and it makes a cool looking stamp pattern like this. So that circle stamp is in the kit with the marks in it, and also this leaf is in the kit as well. So I just wanted to share that with you so you guys would know that's available in my Etsy store for anybody who's interested. And okay, now back to this project. Let me get this over here out of the way. Okay, so I'm taking a small piece of the shelf liner, and I'm just going to dip it in some paint and just put some marks here and there in the background, just to add a little interest. Okay, and it will, like I said, helps tie in the little bird. You know, with the colors that are in the bird, it helps tie him in to our page. I'm just using a small piece because I didn't want it to be big and overwhelming, so I just cut a little one, and it works out really good. I really like how that looks. There we go. Awesome. Okay, see, that just makes a big difference. You know, to me, I think it makes a really nice difference, and it really makes the page pop well. Awesome. Okay, so now the next thing, I'm going to dry that ink, make sure that it's dry so I don't smear it, and then I'm going to start the doodling part of this challenge. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of shading on the leaves, just just to give them a little definition here and there. And now I'm going to just do a little bit of doodling on the page. This will be the last part of the challenge for the 3 steps. I'm going to outline the tree and do a little doodling, probably do a little sketchy outlines. You know how I like to do these. Going to add a tiny bit of shading on the tree. think that looks pretty good, guys. I'm really enjoyed this page. And I hope you enjoyed watching also, and I hope you'll use this crackle technique to do something fun like a tree. You know, anything that has a rough texture like that would look really cool using that crackle medium. So give it a try, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.